How's it going today, guys? This is Dan with the Rat Boy Homestead, and today we're going to be getting the pig pen ready. We're supposed to be picking up some pigs tomorrow. It's another beautiful day here in northern Minnesota, although I don't know if you can tell in the background. Yeah, you kind of can. It's awful smoky. There's a lot of wildfires burning in Canada, I guess, and it's really blowing down here bad today. It smells like you're pretty much standing next to a campfire. So today we're going to be going over our pig pen setup. We're going to be getting it ready to rock and roll. Like I said, we're picking up some pigs in the morning. And then I'll do a separate video on that, kind of things I've learned in the past, things to look out for. This will be our third year doing pigs, our third batch. We didn't do them last year because we had enough pork left over, but yeah, so we got to get that water tank. What way am I? Got to get our water tank washed out, and I'll kind of show you how we use that, get the feeder set up, and just make sure it's ready to rock and roll for tomorrow morning and we get home with a couple little piglets. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're gonna have to do is get this water tank all ready. This is a lid for our feeder. I'm gonna have to get that reattached. I'll toss that there for now. So this tank is now full of, I don't know, algae and junk from sitting without being used last year. So try to get it washed out here and ready for them. Just a bunch of garbage on top of it. Picking up trash and garbage around here. This place is bad for this garbage everywhere from the previous owner. Has left trash laying everywhere. And what we end up having is a watering nipple for them, and I'll show you that. But yeah, we'll get the garden hose strung out and start rinsing it out. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this valve opened up at the bottom here. Oh, maybe. Oh, I think she's a little dried up. There we go. Ooh, bunch of yuck coming out of there. Yeah, I'll get this nice and washed out. This was just used for, I don't even remember. I've had it for a few years now. It's a food grade one. It's 250 gallons. And for 2 pigs, this is enough to get them by all summer. Now, a lot of times midsummer, I'll unthread it and drain it just to get them fresh water, but I found with pigs, one tip would be is that the more hands-off you can be with them, in other words, the more self-reliant or self-sustaining they are, the happier they are and the happier you're going to be. That goes with any animal, obviously, but I'm going to hop up here so I can kind of see what's going on and try to blast this junk out of here. It's pretty gross in there right now, to be honest with you. Try to get a little more angle to it here. Got this green snow fence on here because 2 years ago when we got pigs, we were told that they were like 40 to 50 pounds. When we got there, they were only about 20 pounds. Well, 2 years ago they were hard to find. We went through that time when everyone was giving pigs away, and then there was a year there where you couldn't find a piglet. Everyone was scooping them up, and a lot of them just got killed off, you know, so they were hard to get, so we took what we could get. But yeah, they were so small, they were fitting right out these hog panels. So I'm hoping the ones we're picking up tomorrow, the guy's telling me are 40 to 50 pounds again, so they shouldn't be able to fit out, but we'll see if it is. We still have half the snow fence up. We'll have to figure out something if they fit out, but that's something to pay attention to. One thing when you go get them. Next video, I'll go through a whole list of things I look for when I go pick up pigs. That's one thing to consider. So this pig pen here is a 16 by 16 square. And that is plenty big enough to house, I've had up to 3 pigs in here at a time before. I wouldn't do more than 3, but it's good for 3. We're gonna get 2 this year. We don't need 3, no one's going in on them. In the years past, we've had family that bought in and they wanted one, so we kind of raised it for them and did that. But this year nobody is really interested, so we're gonna do 2 ourselves. All right, guys, so hope you can see down in here. So here's what I like to use for a watering system versus like a water bowl or something like that. It's a hog watering nipple, they call it. It's pretty cool how it works. It almost works like a like a big hamster water or something. So all they got to do is they just push on that and it releases water. And what's pretty cool about it is the gentleman that I get our pigs from actually has his pigs on the same thing in their barn. So when we get them home, they're very used to this, and they take right to it. It takes them a little bit to find it. Usually when they're tiny, I'll kind of bump their nose into it a couple times so they realize that's water. But yeah, and then all I do is hook it up to here, and then I hose clamp it to this T-post because they obviously start getting rammy and knock it out of the way. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll get this guy put on here. Got some thread sealant and a big channel lock, and we'll tighten that clamp. Fortunately, this is pretty muddy, so I think I'm going to go wash this out real quick. All right, we got them threads cleaned up pretty good now. So we'll go ahead and wipe this down here, and we'll get this valve out of our way. Man, that valve is stiff. And we'll get it all gooped up with thread sealant here. Now, sometimes I have a tough time getting this to seal up. It's not a perfect thread pitch from this to this. This is supposed to be something special, I think. But I usually get it to seal up every year, or when we do it, I just put a bunch of goop on there. I did have this freeze one year. We couldn't get our pigs in when I wanted to. Again, a lesson learned. I've got these pigs scheduled at the processor now before we even pick them up. Lesson learned. But yeah, we ended up having them a little late in the year. We got an early freeze, and it it busted open on us. That was a bummer. Wipe that off there. That'll be fine. All right, I'll go thread it through here. See if we have to move our tank around at all. I'm not sure if it's going to be in the right spot or not. Come on now. What's going on here? I think it was up through from the bottom. There we go. All right. Get this guy through here. Maybe. There we go. Oh, that looks like it's going to work out. And I purposely try to have this nipple poking through here as little as possible. The longer in here it is, the more leverage they have, and they can, once they start getting big, they get pretty rammy. I tell you what, a pig will tear up everything. I'll go ahead and tighten this guy down as much as we can here without hopefully breaking anything. Then we'll start filling it up with water. But yeah, this is going to work out perfect. Could be a little bit higher, but that's all right. In the past, this has dripped a little bit, and honestly, that's no big deal. It just keeps water moving. I gotta be careful not to break this, or I'm SOL. I think we'll call that good. Before we get too carried away. And we'll tighten our clamp here. Kind of pull it up a little, maybe. Oh yeah, that ain't going nowhere. All right, get to filling it. All right, so it is the next morning here from that last clip. Family got home, things got away from me last night. I did come out last night, and I got, in the dark, I got the feeder set up. It's just strapped in to here, and what I like to do, I'll go inside and I'll show you here. So what I actually did is, and what I learned after the first year, is I cut a hole here so the main feeder stays outside, and then they just lift up to eat. I didn't do that the first year we did pigs. I had it strapped just to the outside here, and they ended up getting it off and smashed it, and it was rolled down and stuffed in the mud over there. So yeah, kind of learned that little trick, so that help you guys out if you decide to do this. Cut a hole in your hog panel and just stick it through like that. Makes it a whole lot easier there. Yeah. So yeah, the things we've got to do yet before we go pick up our pigs this morning is I've got to get the feed in that feeder. I've got to get some bedding put down, and I've got kind of an old rotten piece of plywood I'm going to stick on the front to kind of partially cover it. It got cold last night. It's like 41 degrees right now, so yeah, it's a little chilly out today. So we've got to do that. The water is all set up. You guys saw that yesterday. That's working great. We'll go ahead and check it and make sure, but it should be working good. And then I want to screw another board onto the gate over here. The gate right now is able to push past the pole. So it wasn't like this originally, but you know, things shift. So I'm just going to screw a 2x4 onto here. That way this gate has a little something more to hit. That way they can't push through it. It's never been an issue in the past, but yeah, I'll get you guys set up and we'll get after it here. We got to get going because we got to go pick up them pigs, which I'm going to do a second video, or another video I should say, on what to look out for when you go get pigs and kind of the process there. So yeah, let's get this pig pen ready. All right, so we'll get the shovel out of the way. Now for the first, maybe month or so, I feed this here, and what this is a Motivate by ADM. What do they call it? It's a starter pellet. It's a pelletized. This stuff is fairly expensive. I'm trying to remember what I paid for this 50-pound bag, but it's higher in protein. It's a good starter for them. It's got, I don't know, some immunity stuff in it. And after that, I'll switch. My feed mill actually makes a hog feed that we'll switch over to. It's a little more cost effective, and yeah, it's a little more cost effective is the big thing. It's more of a ground, and I find they waste a little less of it. So that's the first thing we're gonna do is we'll get this dumped into the feeder here. This is just 100 pounds to start. I believe this feeder will hold, I want to say 200 pounds of the regular hog feed, but I just bought 2 bags for now of this pelletized. Now this little hut here is not very big. It's only, I don't know, a couple feet, maybe 3 feet deep by 5 feet wide or so. It's plenty for 2 pigs. I would like to extend the roof line out a little bit. Right now they can't get in the shade a whole lot, which a pig mainly needs mud, which I will flood this area, especially when it's hot. Every day I'll come out here and flood it and they play in the water, but they need shade too. So I'll be extending this in a later video, but for today, I'm just gonna get it leveled out, throw some straw down, and then like I said, we're gonna try block off as much of this as I can so they can kind of get in and out of the wind for the next couple nights. So we're just gonna level it out so this don't flood. Also a hole here, looks like a woodchuck was living in here or something. This doesn't need to be nothing too special here. In fact, I almost wonder if I should be doing this. It's kind of stirring up a lot of wet. Yeah, maybe I just won't do this. We'll go ahead and start throwing some straw in. And mainly kind of put it back in this section because this is where the wood is going to cover. Probably used to get a little bit more, but we'll go grab another handful and that'll be all I have for today. All right, well that should work out just fine for some bedding. Piece of trimmer string in there. Now we're going to go ahead and I'll try to find that piece of wood. I think it's laying out back here actually. It's probably half rotten, but it's what I've got for today. I didn't anticipate on it getting so cold. It got way colder than it's been. The last few nights have been like 60, and now it's 40. So I wasn't anticipating that, but that's all right. We'll go ahead and grab that piece of wood and screw that to the front. And then there's one more trick I'd like to show you guys that kind of helps transition the pigs to their new home. So we'll get to that in just a second here. But for now, let's get that piece of wood screwed on. All right, guys, well, this piece of wood's in a whole lot worse shape than I thought. It's pretty much gone. But it's what we've got for right now, unfortunately. I don't have anything else, so it's just going to have to work. Again, it's just temporary. We're just trying to block some of the wind for them, so it should work to do that. It's only going to be on here for probably 2 days is about it. That should work. It'll help keep the wind off of them. a little bit over the next couple days here. We'll just screw it on and oh boy, I can't wait to get it off. I'll tell you that. That's terrible. Should have planned a little better on this, but you know how it is. You're always rushing and trying to get things done when you can, and probably could have planned a little better, but it is what it is. Wonder if I can maybe find a couple of rocks to put there so they don't just push it through it, but pretty rotten. But like I said, it'll work. It's just a wind block. Grab a couple more screws here. This is so rotten, I'm afraid it's not going to hold. We'll put a couple screws down the side. Alright. That'll work. Keep them out of the wind. Maybe I'll just take the shovel and throw some dirt over there, actually. It's a high spot here. We'll just kind of bury in the bottom like banking a fish house. That'll at least help them from easily pushing through it. I keep saying, temporary, don't judge. All right, that'll work. That'll keep them out of the wind. A little better anyway. All right, so the one last trick that I mentioned is nothing too special, but it has to do with the feeder. So I find that it works good to tie these doors up for the first little while. It can help them, learn that this is where the food is. Then when you do cut the string and let the doors drop, they remember there's food and they quickly learn to open these doors. So we're just gonna go ahead and tie these up quick. The first few days you have your pigs, you gotta really monitor them. They make sure they're eating and drinking and not getting sick. The last couple of years, like I said before, they got sick of this from transport stress and whatever, so you just gotta watch that. Make sure they stay good to go. But I'll go over more of that in the next video here. Pigs are something super easy to raise your own food, and on our family we like to raise our own food that we possibly can. The only thing we haven't quite moved up to yet is a cow. We want to get a steer out here, raise our own beef as well, but that just requires a lot more infrastructure. You got to have a water set up and fencing and a bigger facility for them to get out of the weather, and the biggest thing with them is you got to keep them over winter. And that just opens the door to a whole lot of more difficulty as far as keeping water from freezing and keeping them fed and all that. So it's in the works, it's in the plans. I'm sure it'll be future videos, but for right now we try to buy like a half beef or something from a local farmer if we can, and that's usually what we've been doing. So I'll kind of pull some feed out here, make sure these are nice and full so they can find it easy. Yeah, I'll take you guys around and show you the kind of final product, I guess, to getting the pig pen ready. All right, well, the sun's starting to come out. It's warming up. Should be a good day to go get the pigs. As you can see here, got our water working good. That's ready to go. No leaks there. We've got our pen all set up. They've got plenty of straw in here. We've got our little boards. They're out of the weather. And we've got our feeder all set up. So plenty of feed in here for them. They should be good to go. So I got to jump in the truck and we're going to go pick up our new pigs. It's always fun. I love having pigs. It's cool to be able to do something with all of your food scraps from in the house. We feed them pretty much everything. We try not to give them too much bones because I think it could be bad for their stomach. But other than that, anything left over they get. But yeah, so until next time, guys, I hope this video is helpful. Please hit that subscribe button. Drop me a comment if you raise pigs or something you see here that I should be doing differently or I should change. I'm always open to learn. I am not the expert in this, just one guy out in the country trying to raise his own food and get off the dependency of that grocery store. So, and until next time, you guys, you have a good one.